All right, let's talk about plaque. We're all taught it's just this thing you have to deal with, right? Something you scrape off at the dentist every 6 months. But what if I told you that whole idea is completely wrong? Today, we are going to dive into a simple, science-backed way to make plaque a thing of the past. For real. So let's just rip the Band-Aid off and ask the big question. Can you actually have a plaque-free mouth in just 3 months? It sounds a little out there, I know, but based on the science we're breaking down today, the answer is a big, fat, surprising yes.
And why should you even care? Well, just imagine this for a second. No more red, irritated gums. No more seeing pink in the sink when you brush. No new cavities, ever. Getting rid of those dreaded dental cleanings. Heck, you might even be able to ditch flossing. This isn't some fantasy. It's a potential reality. And we're going to lay out the roadmap to get there.
Okay, so to beat the enemy, you gotta understand the enemy. And the first thing we need to wrap our heads around is this thing called biofilm. It's basically the battlefield where the whole war for your oral health is either won or lost. So think of it like this. You've got two teams of bacteria living in your mouth. You've got the good guys, these planktonic bacteria, which is just a fancy way of saying they float around harmlessly in your saliva, minding their own business. But then you've got the bad guys, the biofilm formers. Their whole mission in life is to latch onto your teeth, pump out acid, and build these nasty little fortresses we call plaque. And here is the big twist, the part that changes everything. That biofilm itself, it's not the villain, not at all. Think of it like a thin, protective layer of saran wrap covering every surface in your mouth. A healthy biofilm is actually your mouth's #1 bodyguard. The real problem starts when that shield gets hijacked, when it gets infected with those sticky, acid-making plaque bacteria. Hey, real quick before we continue, if you're digging this info and want to actually do something about your oral health, we've got a game changer in the description. ProDentim is the real deal for supporting your mouth's natural ecosystem. Trust me, your future self will thank you for checking it out later. So if the problem is an infected biofilm, how do we fix it without, nuking the good parts too? Well, the answer is a secret weapon that's been kind of hiding in plain sight, a natural sugar called xylitol. Now get this, because this is the cool part. We're not going on a killing spree in your mouth. Xylitol is way, way smarter than that. It doesn't just carpet bomb everything in sight, it plays chess. It strategically outplays the bad bacteria at their own game. So here's the play-by-play. First, the bad bacteria gobble up the xylitol because they think it's delicious sugar. But, and here's the trick, they can't actually digest it. It's kind of like trying to use the wrong size wrench on a bolt. They just spin their wheels, burning through all their energy trying to process it until they're completely exhausted. This means they run out of fuel to make their sticky glue. And without that stickiness, they just lose their grip and get washed away. It's a brilliant targeted attack. All right, enough theory. That all sounds awesome, but how do you actually do it? Let's get down to brass tacks. Here is the simple, step-by-step game plan to turn your mouth into a no-plaque zone. So, what's the magic number? You're gonna love this. It's tiny. We're talking just 1 to 2 grams of xylitol. To give you some perspective, that's about what you'd find in a couple of good xylitol mints, or maybe 1 piece of xylitol gum. Yeah, that's it. This is not some huge commitment. Now, the when is super important. The absolute best time to have it is right after you eat or drink anything that isn't plain water. This gets the xylitol in there right when the bad bacteria are getting ready to party on all those food bits, stopping them dead in their tracks before they can start making acid and building plaque. Okay, now for a step that is every bit as important as the xylitol itself, the rest period. For 1 to 2 hours after the xylitol, you gotta just let your mouth rest. That means no food, no coffee, no soda, nothing but water. This little quiet time, it's totally non-negotiable for this system to work. So what's actually happening during this whole mouth resting thing? Well, you're creating a calm neutral zone. With the bad acid-making bacteria taken care of, this quiet period lets your saliva do its job of remineralizing your teeth. And it lets that healthy protective biofilm rebuild and get stronger without being constantly under attack. Now, let's zoom out for a second because this isn't just about your own mouth. This is way bigger. This is about the health of the people you care about most. Okay, prepare to have your mind blown a little bit. Those cavity-causing plaque bacteria, they're contagious. Yep, they get passed around when you share a fork, take a sip of someone's drink, or even a kiss. This is especially true between parents and their little kids. I mean, can you even believe this? There was actually a public health message that told new moms not to kiss their babies to avoid passing on bacteria. Seriously, instead of fixing the actual problem, the advice was basically to stop showing affection. That is just wild.
But look, this isn't some brand new, crazy idea. Check out countries like Denmark. They've been using xylitol for decades, especially with kids. And the result? The average person has just a quarter of one cavity in their entire life. Now, you compare that to the typical average, and wow, the difference is just staggering. So, I'm going to leave you with this thought. We've just seen how one simple, natural thing can completely flip the script on oral health. It really makes you stop and wonder, what other basic rules about our health are just totally wrong, waiting for someone to challenge them? Thanks for watching.